Greetings, fellow humans. I am Hugh.
And I am Man.
And together we are definitely not
Two
kobolds in a trench coat. We enjoy human activities, such as paying taxes,
Having existential crises,
and RPG horror stories. Let's see what we've got today. Today, we have a DM who won't stop harassing their players with Mary Poppins Bugbears, a DM who couldn't handle their players succeeding, and a cautionary tale of what to expect when DMing for children. My DM won't stop using a bugbear with an umbrella to undermine us at every turn. By Reddit user, LadiesMan90. So recently we have been dealing with a group of goblins and bugbears in our sessions. Our DM is usually level-headed, however he has clearly lost it. Recently he decided to implement a series of encounters involving bugbears and goblins with umbrellas. This sounds ridiculous, but trust me, it gets worse. These bugbears and goblins use these umbrellas to fly like Mary Poppins. Normally this would be okay, but every time we go to attack their leader, our DM shouts, "It's too late, he flew off already!" No matter if we are using bows, magic, hell, even magic missile, which shouldn't be possible, and he will then say something like, "He already flew off, it's too late now."
Sorry, so they just escape with umbrellas? Is that it?
Maybe they didn't wish hard enough for the perfect nanny.
Yeah, that feels weird. I don't really know why he would do that. Like, I get like, oh, I have too many NPCs for a certain encounter, but then drop them in when you need them rather than take them out when it's too many.
It's a magical world with dragons, beholders, mind flayers, and alternate dimensions. And magical flying umbrellas is where you draw the line.
No, it's more like you have an enemy that you're trying to defeat and then they're just gone and oh, whoops, you can't hit them. That's weird. Why would you do that?
Since he uses this bugbear to undermine our party at every turn, like kidnapping an NPC we are talking to by swooping in and flying away mid-conversation, the worst instance of this was us fighting one of the big bad bosses we have been tracking down for a year, real life, and this damn bugbear just swoops in and takes him away before we can end him. Because we know he's going to appear at least once a session now, we have tried various traps to catch him. Rope trap, box with stick, ambush, decoy NPC, but nothing works because our DM claims he has an intelligence of 25 and a knack for sabotage. What does that even mean? We all got together after our last session and we are running out of ideas and we are desperate.
He has an intelligence of 25 and a knack for, what was it?
Sabotage.
What does that even mean?
It means he's a beastie boy.
That's so weird. Like, I like the creativity of, like, coming in and out on magical umbrellas. That's cool. But literally just, like, yoink. You want to talk to this NPC? Sorry. You want to set a trap for me? Well, guess what? I'm super smart, and I see it coming. So, nanny, boo-boo?
Sounds to me like a bit of a joke gone too far. It was a witty concept at first, but if they're showing up every session and impossible to catch, you're going to really drive your players nuts. I think the DM intended that to be part of the joke, that they show up every session, but if you're going to do that every session, then maybe do it in ways that don't interfere so heavily with the players getting anything done.
Yeah, I mean, make it a fun, like, Where's Waldo situation, you know? Like, can you spot the bugbear with the umbrella? I guess that might be a fun concept, but like talking to an important NPC and yoinking him out in the middle of a conversation is not the time or the place for a joke.
We are going to try a giant glue trap next session, and hopefully that will solve our problems. He's been doing this for the past 2 months, and we are all at our wits' end. When we bring up to him how ridiculous and impossible to deal with this is, he just says, "Well, I can think of many ways you can stop him," and then brushes us off. Recently he hasn't even been kidnapping NPCs, but is still also swooping in and stealing our rations and magic items. The game is nigh unplayable at this point, and there's nothing we can do. Edit, in case some of you were curious, tonight we had a session again and attempted the glue trap plan. It worked. At first, he got caught in the glue trap and we were about to finish him off when the unthinkable happened. A dragon we hired to kill him that he shot down in an earlier session apparently got bribed by him and freed him moments before we could finish him. He cackled as he flew off on his umbrella again, taunting us all. One of our players just got up and silently left, and you know what he said? Well, this is his loss, I guess. Also, we are not going to ditch our DM. He's normally very chill, aside from this one bugbear.
So the DM says, I can think of a few ways to get rid of him. And then when they try something that actually has the potential to work and is working, he does like a Deus Ex Machina and is like, oh, remember that one random dragon? Well, now he's working for the Bugbear. So, yeah.
As a DM, it's always important to have stuff in your pocket to be prepared for unexpected eventualities. However, just making up anything to get your favourite NPC out of any situation is just ridiculous. Make it reasonable. It really does sound like whatever the party do, this bugbear is going to escape.
I feel like it's one of those situations if he had a vision in his head of what he wanted the campaign to look like, and the bugbear was integral to it and was going to just drop in on every session, and it was supposed to be funny and everybody was going to have a laugh, and then it wasn't funny, and instead of just giving up, and when the players are like, can we just kill him already? Or when somebody literally up and leaves and he's like, oh, well, guess it's his loss, whatever. He just doubles down instead of listening to his players. Sometimes we have ideas in our heads and it sounds great, but then in practicality, it just doesn't vibe with the group. And that's fine. And part of your job as a DM is to be able to scrap those things and move on.
Sounds like this DM had a real case of the bad ideas, bugbears.
DMs, let your players be good at things. By Reddit user AltRocker. This is an old story from the mid-2010s, but I was reminded of it recently and decided to share. I was playing D&D 5e when it was still slightly fresher of a game. I made a bard, since it's always been a favorite class of mine, and naturally maxed charisma, took expertise in persuasion and deception, the whole shebang. It was the most basic overall bard I could imagine. No gimmicks, no tricks, etc. DM, however, started to notice that all the expertise charisma skills on the charisma class means I tended to roll well on persuasion. This meant that my ability to work our team through social encounters was fairly high, and he decided that that was actually bad. I noticed he stopped letting me ever roll for persuasion. He would always either just have the NPC stonewall my speaking, which is fine to do in general. Obviously, not every NPC can be swayed even by a nat 20. Or I would notice he intentionally would wait for the exact moment anyone else in the party spoke up to ask them to roll. One session, I made an offhand joke about the persuasion basically becoming useless to me since I never got to roll it anymore, and the DM said, completely straight-faced, yeah, why would I let you roll? Your bonus is so high, you basically can't fail, so why give you the ability anyways? I can't let you be that good at it. Me. But that's what I build my bard to do? DM. Sorry, but I'm not letting you roll persuasion still. I didn't want to make any more of a fuss, but to this day, I believe that this is not a good mindset to DM with. Yes, you obviously should challenge players and not exclusively play into their strengths. Targeting weaknesses is something that should happen too, but let your players actually do what they're built to do.
When people say that bards being bards can sometimes be a bad thing, this isn't what they mean. They're usually referring to bards being overly suggestive and a bit too
Inappropriate.
They don't mean don't let your bard roll for persuasion. Bards are top charisma builds built for interactions. When the party are having social encounters, this is what the bard is mainly for. Therefore, to not allow them to do that just because they're good at it is ridiculous.
It also deprives the party of some really fun roleplay moments because, hey, maybe once in a while the bard is actually going to roll too low and the random NPC is going to get a nat 20 against the persuasion roll. You never know. That has happened in the past and it's hilarious and everybody remembers it and laughs about it later.
The other big point here is that you're supposed to let your players win. You are not competitively competing with them as a DM. Pretty fundamental. When I DM'd for a group of mostly new players, one of the first things I said to them was, I am not your enemy. I am not trying to beat you. I'm going to roleplay the villains and move the narrative along. but my job here is as a storyteller, not to defeat you.
Also, as somebody who is currently playing a bard in a campaign, those charisma stat skill checks are sometimes the only thing that you can contribute to a party in a certain situation, because you're not necessarily a huge damage dealer. You're there to help others be better and also navigate social situations. That's literally your job as a bard, most of the time anyway. Keeping them from being good in a social situation is literally crippling the entire class.
Absolutely. Although just a little bit of barding is a bit fun sometimes. Just don't take it too far.
Always bard responsibly.
I GM'd for kids for the first time today by Reddit user Seamus is the dog. I volunteered to run Pathfinder at a small convention in my area today, and the last game of the day had 5 kids under 10 playing. In 2 hours of play, the party spent the first 15 minutes conspiring to steal their reward money from the quest giver. The wizard spent 2 straight turns of combat trying to grab a goblin by the legs. You good?
2 whole turns. The wizard.
Then the hands, and finally an ear.
Why not?
Also, he could use him as an improvised weapon.
He should have just been a barbarian.
Using small creatures as improvised weapons is what barbarians are for. I've tried to do this. I've encountered other people trying to do this. Just get the kid to play a barbarian next time.
They'd have way more fun.
The druid renamed her animal companion at least 4 times. I think she finally decided on Daisy. At one point, an angry mob charged the party to attack an NPC. The cleric asked if he could hug them.
That is the most wholesome thing I've ever heard, and we do not deserve kids like this.
We do, however, deserve kids like the one who was trying to swing the goblin round by his legs as a wizard.
Well, yeah, that obviously is a kid that's 100% human.
The wizard, in the middle of another combat, announced he had to go do NPC things. He then walked into a nearby wall over and over until it was his turn again.
That's brilliant. I absolutely love this wizard kid. That was awesome. I should do that more often. I mean, that's what NPCs in janky video games do. That's amazing.
At one of the con's booths, you could make potions, i.e. buy tiny vials or beakers and fill them with what I hope was coloured water, because the kids were drinking them. The rogue insisted that the ones she had were invisibility potions that she could use on her character. I had to clarify that her inventory was what was written on her sheet, and not just what she had sitting on it. Frustrating as it was at the time, I'd still run 10 of these games over my earlier one with adults who tried to torture surrendering enemies and went on weird rants about their job's vaccine mandates.
Well, yeah, me too. I would definitely take that over whatever the hell that was.
Yeah, the horde of children is definitely preferable to that.
Also, I'm just saying, if you're going to have a booth at the con where the people can make potions that are imbibable, let the kids just have those as their invisibility potions, because that's too confusing, dude. And also, that would be super fun to be like, yeah, I'm going to swig this potion literally right now. What else are you going to do in an in-person game? That's what in-person games are for, right?
Although I will echo what OP says, I really hope those potions were just coloured water. I don't think they'd put anything toxic in them, but for the sake of everyone's sanity, I do hope they weren't sugary drinks.
It was probably just Kool-Aid or something like that. At least that's what I would do if it was me, because you know those kids are going to drink that. And it's not like they put the fancy stuff in there anyway to make it look all magical. But this is adorable. OP, I'm sure that you felt very stressed out at the time doing this, especially when you have a cleric who just wants to give an angry mob a hug, like a good golden retriever.
You've got the full range of toddlers in this game. You've got the violent one, you've got the one who just wants to hug everyone, you've got the one who can't stop renaming their pets.
They wanted their pet to have the perfect name, and as somebody who used to have a rabbit named Daisy, I think that that's a perfectly good name. However, I will say, the whole conspiring to just steal the reward money off the quest giver, not too bad, actually. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but they're like, hey, let's have the money and we don't have to do none of the work.
In about 20 years' time, OP should check the FBI's most wanted list for these kids' names.
Especially the wizard.
Especially the wizard. Hey man,
Hey, what?
How do you get a D&D player to go out with you?
I don't know.
You ask them for a D8. And with that, we have definitely not been two kobolds in a trench coat. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and make the necessary sacrifices to Tiamat. We'll see you next time.